So welcome back. So I'm Gino Martin of KPM Exceptional, and this is going to be the second video in our series on the new Scag Jackal. And with me, I have Rob Leonard, one of our two field service technicians. So we brought Rob in today to do the video, and Rob's going to answer a few questions because I know there's a whole host of specifications that end users and anybody watching this video is going to find very useful, and it's going to be one of the first questions they have. So Rob, let's start with the most important thing that everybody starts off with. What's the lift capacity or the rated lift capacity of this machine?
Rated lift capacity on this machine is 1,125 pounds, Gino.
That's wonderful. And as we start looking at the bucket and its capability, what's the dump height of this particular unit?
81 inches.
And Rob, because there's a lot of dimensions that tend to get skewed, where would we be measuring that 81-inch dump height that we're advertising?
So we're actually going to be measuring that at our bucket hinge pin right here.
Beautiful. So 81 inches to the bottom of the hinge pin. And as we're traveling with our material, what's going to be our top ground speed that we're going to see out of this unit?
We're looking at 4 miles an hour.
4 miles an hour, okay. And I couldn't help but notice we have on top of the universal attachment, we also have the universal hoses here, and it looks like we actually have a case drain on these hydraulics. Is that correct?
We do.
That's wonderful. And what type of flow should we expect out of the hydraulic system on this unit?
We're spec'd at 15 gallons per minute on this unit.
15 gallons per minute. So that's going to be directly associated with your products that you would be running on there, but we have a 15 gallon per minute capacity. And one of the questions that occasionally comes up from some users is what's the hydraulic tank capacity?
We've got a 12 gallon capacity on this unit, Gino.
Okay. So 12 gallons in the tank, and when this unit's fully ready to go work, what are we looking at for a weight with the standard bucket on it?
3,400 pounds.
3,400 pounds? And what type of a ground pressure should we experience with a 3,400 pound machine in this configuration as far as the grass that we're sitting on?
We're looking at 5.5 PSI.
5.5 PSI, excellent. So if we were to give them an overall spec on the length of the unit, what would we be coming in at?
88 inches.
Now, 88 inches, where are we measuring 88 inches?
So our 88 inches on this unit goes from the operator platform to the universal attachment plate.
Okay, so that's to the back of the plate that's hooking up to whatever attachment's going on the unit.
Correct.
Okay. There's also some other specs. Now, the unit that we're looking at here is actually the wide track version. One of the coolest things about the new Jackal, and I think it's going to really be an industry game changer, is this unit, believe it or not, Rob, we can swap this right to a narrow track with a track kit. Is that correct?
Yes, we can.
So we could take the wide tracks off, purchase the track kit, and put the narrow track on, which is going to change the dimensions of the unit.
Absolutely.
It's going to give us more capacity and accessibility to handle any job that they run into. So what would we be looking at if we're talking about the width of the unit? And as I recall, as we were coming into this, you said there's actually a couple of different widths, which sometimes causes a little confusion.
There are. So this is the wide track version, as you mentioned before. With the wide track, we've got 40.5 inches width on the tracks outside to outside.
Okay.
Moving forward to the bucket, it's 41.5 inches inside to inside on the bucket.
Okay.
And then from the outside edges of the cutting edge is 42.5 inches.
Okay, and that makes sense because I do see that the cutting edge sticks out just a little bit further than the bucket. But if we were to change this and put the optional track kit on this unit, we wouldn't be at 40.5 inches to the outside of the track. What would we experience once we put that narrow track kit on this unit?
So once we did that, at that point, we'd be at 34 inches from the outside to the outside of the tracks.
Okay, so that's how we get the 34 inches on the spec. Now, I assume that if we did that, we'd have the option to keep the larger bucket on, even with the narrow tracks, correct?
Yep.
But we also would have another option, and that would be to purchase the gate bucket, okay? And if we purchase the gate bucket, what's the width of the gate bucket on the 34-inch track width machine?
So we'd go from that 34 outside to outside of the tracks to 35 inches inside the bucket to 36 inches on the outside of the cutting edge, because that's going to stick out as well.
And with that cutting edge sticking out, we're using 36 inches, but is it more realistic to say it's going to be just inside a 36, so it's going to slide through a 36-inch doorway?
Yes.
Okay. Beautiful. And one last thing, I just want to make sure, now I know as we talked about the unit, we talked about the different buckets, but as you purchase the unit, you'll be able to purchase it in either configuration before you would install a track kit. So you could buy this machine as a narrow unit, you could buy it as a wide unit, and then you can add the track kit. But whatever machine you buy it, it's going to come standard with the bucket for that unit. So if we were to purchase the unit right in front of us, unlike a lot of other competitors where you buy the machine and don't get a bucket, we're giving you the bucket standard with every purchase. So we're going to have a bunch more videos for you. We're going to go a little bit more in depth, and we look forward to seeing you on the next round.